Today, we are conducting a documentary reconstruction of the 24 hours preceding the first unexpected contacts of the Tet Offensive. This investigation follows the timeline exactly as it unfolded across Saigon, Hue, and the northern provinces, observing each routine procedure, communication exchange, and field report that shaped the final hours before the surprise attacks. We will trace the countdown as it was lived in real time, without interpretation, focusing solely on the operational reality of that single day. Please make yourself comfortable and proceed with the viewing. The final day of the Lunar New Year, ceasefire begins under standard conditions across South Vietnam. In Saigon, Joint General Staff Headquarters maintains reduced overnight personnel, with watch officers monitoring routine encrypted traffic from field divisions, military police checkpoints at Tan Son Nhut Air Base. Process night shift rotations for air logistics units preparing transport aircraft for morning movements toward Da Nang and Pleiku. American advisory teams lodge at secured billets inside the MACV compound on Tan Son Nhut's western perimeter. Communications technicians run scheduled maintenance on HF radios linking 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Corps sectors. No abnormal signal traffic is reported. In Hue, local ARVN units assigned to the 1st Division maintain holiday staffing levels, while Buddhist temples prepare for early morning ceremonies. Civilian movement declines as the Tet holiday enters its quiet phase. At 0020, meteorological detachments at Bien Hoa and Nha Trang file routine. Weather forecasts indicating clear sky conditions suitable for helicopter operations. South Vietnamese National Police conduct standard patrols through Chalon District, noting reduced market activity but no security incidents. U.S. Naval personnel aboard riverine patrol craft stationed along the Saigon River complete equipment checks before docking for scheduled stand-down hours. Intelligence sections at 3rd Corps Tactical Zone review previous day's reports describing limited Viet Cong harassment fire in rural districts. No directives for heightened readiness are issued. U.S. Embassy night staff logs expected Tet-related personnel absences across administrative departments. Airborne command posts remain offline under ceasefire protocol. Across northern provinces, ARVN regional forces transmit routine position confirmations to provincial headquarters. No alerts, no deviations from standard holiday procedures. Countdown continues. Night cycle operations continue under ceasefire assumptions. In Saigon, Tan Son Nhut Air Base runway lights remain at reduced intensity, while ground crews from the 377th Security Police Squadron complete perimeter fence inspections along the northwest sector bordering civilian housing. Radar operators inside the RAPCON facility monitor routine, civilian, and military airspace tracks with no unidentified contacts. MACV headquarters in downtown Saigon logs stable communications with 2 field force at Long Binh. Cipher rooms process low-volume message traffic, consisting mainly of administrative updates and Tet leave confirmations. The U.S. Embassy compound maintains standard overnight guard rotation at vehicle gates on Thong Nhut Boulevard. Marines assigned to Embassy security conduct routine radio checks with the Chancery Post. No deviations reported. At Khe Sanh Combat Base, the 26th Marine Regiment maintains defensive positions under heavy fog conditions. Counter-battery radar remains operational, recording sporadic outbound artillery from Marine fire bases targeting suspected infiltration corridors south and west of the perimeter. Surveillance teams report distant small arms bursts toward Lang Vei, but classify activity as consistent with previous weeks. Engineering units continue reinforcing trench lines and storage bunkers with sandbags following the artillery strikes that began earlier in January. Supply officers complete inventory of mortar rounds and illumination flares ahead of expected resupply flights scheduled after the Tet holiday. Air operations remain restricted by visibility conditions. In Saigon's Cholon district, ARVN National Police checkpoints record limited civilian movement as holiday celebrations taper off. Patrol logs note several firecracker detonations commonly associated with Tet festivities. These are marked as non-military in origin. In the Gia Dinh sector north of the capital, regional forces platoons check their weapons lockers and file standard hourly readiness reports to district headquarters. No unusual patterns appear in night radio channels. Long-range reconnaissance patrols positioned west of Saigon near the Saigon River Delta transmit negative contact messages at scheduled intervals. In the city center, Helio Courthouse personnel finalize administrative closures for the upcoming holiday morning. Public transport schedules indicate minimal service at dawn. Hospitals maintain reduced staffing, with emergency wards operating under standard triage procedures. No alerts are issued by Joint General Staff. Ceasefire provisions remain active. Countdown continues. Pre-dawn conditions remain steady across South Vietnam. In Saigon, Joint General Staff night officers continue logging quiet traffic from Corps headquarters. The encrypted teleprinter circuit connecting 3rd Corps Tactical Zone to MACV shows only administrative transmissions concerning Tet leave rosters and logistical scheduling for post-holiday resupply convoys. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, the 377th Security Police Squadron conducts its routine shift turnover. Sentry posts along the Northern Wire receive updated instructions for reduced threat holiday posture. Airlift crews assigned to C-130 transport operations complete rest cycles inside on-base billets before morning departures. In the MACV compound adjoining the air base, the Communications Center maintains continuous monitoring of HF channels linking Pleiku, Quang Ngai, and Da Nang. No irregularities are detected. In Hue, 1st ARVN Division Headquarters staffs its night operations room with minimal personnel. Duty officers acknowledge receipt of province-level reports indicating calm conditions along Highway 1 and inside the Citadel. Civilian activity around Thuan Hoa and Gia Hoi wards declines as Buddhist pagodas prepare for early Tet ceremonies. Checkpoints near the Truong Tien Bridge register minor river traffic, mostly fishing vessels repositioning before dawn. Military police posts maintain routine oversight, issuing no alerts. The nearby Hugh University campus remains quiet, with students on holiday leave and dormitories operating at low occupancy. Provincial radio transmits pre-recorded holiday programming without interruptions. Across Saigon's urban sectors, National Police patrols continue inspections of shuttered shops and warehouses in Cholon. Occasional firecracker pops are logged without escalation. Regional Forces units stationed near Go Vap District complete weapon checks, but report no signs of coordinated movement along canals or alleys leading toward the city center. At Bien Hoa Air Base, northeast of Saigon, air controllers conduct pre-flight checks of navigational aids for morning sorties. F-100 and A-37 aircraft remain parked under standard holiday stand-down, with maintenance crews adhering to reduced tempo protocols. In central Vietnam, logistics nodes supporting I-Corps maintain baseline functionality. Supply depots near Da Nang record the arrival of refrigerated cargo trucks carrying food stocks for post-holiday distribution. Harbor officials report minimal night activity among offshore vessels. No intelligence summaries suggest imminent, concentrated attacks. Ceasefire terms remain valid, and all commands maintain routine readiness status. Countdown continues. Morning activity resumes under full Tet ceasefire expectations. In Saigon, Tan Son Nhut Air Base initiates standard runway inspections. Engineering teams verify surface integrity and mark minor debris near the western taxiway for removal. Weather detachment posts routine visibility and wind reports to Third Corps operations. C-130 crews assemble for scheduled cargo flights transporting medical supplies toward Kontum and Quy Nhon once holiday restrictions lift. MACV Headquarters receives updated Corps summaries confirming no night incidents across 3rd and 4th Corps. Signal operators test VHF repeaters linking Saigon to Long Binh and Bearcat. All channels remain stable. Within the city, ARVN. National Police increase traffic oversight as early Tet preparations begin. Markets along Hamningi Street unload holiday goods. District stations report steady civilian flow and no indicators of coordinated movement. Cholon precincts file routine updates describing shop openings and firecracker use common to the season. No changes to readiness posture are ordered. At the U.S. Embassy compound, shift supervisors validate gate logs from overnight entries. Marine guards recheck ammunition loadouts and radio codes, following standard procedure unrelated to threat reporting. In Da Nang, airbase personnel from the 366th Tactical Fighter Wing finish night maintenance of F-4 aircraft. Arming crews stand down under the holiday ceasefire directive. Security platoons patrol perimeter zones near the Marble Mountain sector, noting normal civilian movement along adjacent roads. Marine Division Headquarters south of the airfield receives early supply data, indicating expected shortages in fuel distribution after Tet due to backlogged convoys. No alerts accompany these reports. Patrol commanders along the Haivan Pass report quiet conditions. No large formations detected in surrounding hills. Further north, operations at Quang Ngai and Quang Tri provincial headquarters follow holiday staffing schedules. Advisors attached to ARVN units perform morning radio checks and confirm stable contact with district outposts. No sightings of abnormal concentrations along infiltration routes are logged. At the same time, U.S. Navy riverine units in the lower Mekong Delta conduct brief equipment tests before securing vessels for the holiday morning. Data from civilian traffic police in Saigon shows consistent flows through the central intersections, with no reports suggesting irregular behavior. Joint General Staff in Saigon receives weather forecasts from all Corps areas indicating favorable conditions, though some notes highlight increased humidity along coastal zones. Nothing in incoming summaries triggers operational reassessment. Units remain on standard Tet posture. Countdown continues. Mid-morning routines proceed under full ceasefire assumptions. In Saigon, Joint General Staff circulates the latest Corps-level summaries confirming no overnight military incidents. Administrative officers finalize holiday duty rosters and approve reduced manning levels across provincial headquarters. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, flight operations personnel begin preparing navigation charts for the first post-Tet sorties scheduled for early February. Meteorological teams submit visibility and upper air wind data to MACV, showing stable flying conditions across southern routes. Air police units conduct routine inspections of access points along the main perimeter road, logging standard civilian contractor traffic entering supply depots. No alerts are issued. In the city, ARVN National Police oversee increased civilian activity as Tet vendors open stalls across central districts. Patrol teams record typical holiday foot traffic along Tran Hung Deo and Kong Li streets. Firecracker detonations continue and are categorized as traditional celebratory noise. No abnormal concentrations of people or vehicles are observed in Cholon beyond seasonal gatherings. U.S. Embassy administrative staff begin half-day operations, logging reduced personnel presence in accordance with holiday policy. Communication technicians validate HF, VHF, and secure teletype circuits to ensure uninterrupted capability during shortened operating hours. No significant message traffic is received from field advisory teams. In Pleiku, 2nd Corps Tactical Zone Headquarters conducts routine shift turnover. Advisory teams stationed with the 4th Infantry Division complete morning equipment checks while awaiting updated route security reports from Highway 19 leading toward Nkochi. Provincial outposts in Kontum send status messages indicating quiet conditions along border districts. ARVN Ranger units positioned north of Pleiku report only minor movement detected by village patrols, consistent with previous holiday cycles. Transport aircraft at Camp Holloway remain grounded under ceasefire rules, with maintenance crews completing panel inspections and avionics checks unrelated to threat activity. In Saigon's surrounding districts, regional forces continue standard perimeter patrols along canal systems connecting suburban zones to the city center. Radio logs from Govap and Bin Hoa indicate uneventful morning sweeps. Fuel tankers servicing power stations enter the capital under routine escort, and traffic units record normal vehicle density along main arteries. Rail operations between Saigon and Bien Hoa run on limited schedules, carrying civilian holiday travelers. No intelligence summaries from field units across 3rd Corps suggest changes to security posture. All commands maintain the established holiday readiness level without modification. No directives anticipate large-scale coordinated activity. Countdown continues. Midday conditions reinforce the prevailing assumption of an extended Tet stand-down across all Corps areas. In Saigon, Joint General Staff receives updated situation reports from 3rd and 4th Corps, confirming continued low activity along primary road networks. Officers in the operations room process routine logistics paperwork for post-holiday convoy scheduling, prioritizing fuel, rations, and medical shipments scheduled to move once civilian traffic restrictions ease. MACV headquarters logs low-volume encrypted transmissions from advisory detachments, most of which address personnel leave rotations and minimal administrative requests. No reconnaissance aircraft tasking orders are generated. Air photographic missions remain suspended under holiday protocol. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, runway controllers approve several civilian charter arrivals, bringing holiday travelers from regional hubs. Air Police continue standard perimeter checks, focusing on contractor access lanes along the southern fence. Maintenance units complete midday inspections of C-123 and C-130 transport aircraft, recording expected fuel and hydraulic service intervals. Meteorological personnel issue updated wind pattern summaries for afternoon helicopter operations, though most aviation activity remains paused until after Tet. The U.S. Embassy compound transitions to reduced staffing. Communications teams maintain watch over secure circuits linking the mission to Washington, Honolulu, and regional posts. No technical issues are reported. In Kwangangai, provincial headquarters for I Corps maintains its customary midday rotation. District liaison officers transmit routine confirmations from Sonha, Ba Tu, and Son Tin, stating no overnight incidents and noting standard Tet ceasefire compliance from local ARVN regional forces. Highway 1. Traffic south of the city remains light, composed mostly of civilian passengers traveling between holiday gatherings. Coastal patrol units observe several fishing vessels repositioning along nearshore routes without deviation from typical patterns. U.S. advisory teams attached to local ARVN battalions complete midday communications checks, logging stable radio conditions on all assigned frequencies. No reports reflect unusual concentrations of personnel or supplies in surrounding hamlets. Back in Saigon, civilian markets reach peak midday activity. National police precincts record increased foot traffic in commercial clusters near Ben Thanh and Cholon markets. Patrol reports note firecracker noise consistent with Tet celebrations. No checkpoints report organized group movements or suspicious cargo transport. Railway authorities confirm safe arrival of morning trains from Mai Tho and Can Tho. Power stations maintain continuous output, with technicians reporting standard demand curves for holiday cycles. Across central Vietnam, Da Nang's Air Base and Marine Headquarters file midday summaries listing no incidents, no reconnaissance contacts, and no inland maneuver indicators from ARVN or U.S. patrols. Communications blackout of hostile origin is not observed. Operational assumptions remain unchanged across all commands. Countdown continues. Afternoon routines proceed without deviations from Tet ceasefire patterns. In Saigon, Joint General Staff completes its mid-afternoon review of Corp-level summaries. Reports from 3rd Corps indicate uninterrupted quiet along major approach routes into the capital. Provincial headquarters in Gia Dinh, Go Vap, and Hoc Mon confirm stable conditions, with no unusual civilian displacement or military movement observed on canal and roadway networks. MACV Headquarters logs minor updates from advisory teams conducting administrative check-ins. The encrypted teletype circuit handling I-Core traffic shows no surge in messages from Da Nang, Hu, or Quang Tri. The holiday staffing schedule remains unchanged. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, air controllers clear several domestic civilian flights operating under limited Tet permissions. Ground support teams finalize afternoon inspections of navigation beacons and runway edge lighting systems. The 377th Security Police Squadron conducts scheduled patrols along the northeastern perimeter near densely populated civilian zones. Reports note standard holiday patterns with increased pedestrian movement outside the fence line, but no indicators of coordinated surveillance or infiltration attempts. Maintenance crews continue routine servicing of transport aircraft, confirming that airframes remain ready for normal operations once holiday restrictions conclude. In Ben Tre, 4th Corps field stations complete their afternoon situation reports. District outposts along the Ba Lai and Ham Luang waterways report routine river traffic, primarily small civilian vessels transporting holiday goods. ARVN regional forces stationed near My Long and Pu Tuk confirm negative contact patrols. U.S. Navy riverine units in the area conduct mechanical checks on PBRs before securing them for the remainder of the holiday period. No intelligence summaries indicate organized force concentrations on either bank of the Mekong tributaries. Province headquarters receives additional confirmations from isolated hamlets further inland, all reporting uneventful conditions and no signs of coordinated movement. Back in Saigon's Cholon district, National Police document intensified market activity consistent with the Tet peak. Patrol officers flag several noise incidents attributed to firecrackers. No items of military interest are recorded during inspections of cargo deliveries entering warehouse zones. Civilian bus routes between Cholon and the central city continue on reduced schedules with normal passenger flow. At the U.S. Embassy, administrative personnel finalize early closure of non-essential offices. Communications specialists maintain continuous monitoring of high-frequency and secure channels. Traffic remains minimal. Across the coastal corridor, Quang Ngai and Da Nang headquarters submit additional updates confirming the absence of ground probes or unusual foot traffic near known infiltration routes. Marine and ARVN units maintain holiday postures without reinforcing forward positions. There is no indication from any Corps-level command suggesting alteration to readiness status. Countdown continues. Late afternoon activity continues under full ceasefire assumptions across all operational zones. In Saigon, Joint General Staff officers conduct the routine end-of-day coordination call with Corps commands. Reports returned from 3rd Corps confirm quiet conditions along the Saigon-Bien Hoa axis and stable security across the northern belt of the capital. Administrative desks begin transitioning to reduced staffing for the evening holiday period. MACV headquarters registers minimal encrypted traffic, consisting mostly of routine updates from advisory teams attached to ARVN divisions in the Central Highlands. Nothing in the incoming summaries indicates changes in posture or troop concentrations beyond normal Tet patterns. Weather reports across southern provinces show stable visibility and moderate cloud layers, adequate for standard aviation operations but irrelevant under holiday flight restrictions. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, runway controllers finish their final afternoon checks. Air police patrols continue perimeter sweeps around cargo terminals and fuel storage sites, reporting no breaches or suspicious movement near the fence line. Civilian traffic increases outside the base as residents move between markets and pagodas for holiday preparations. Maintenance teams complete final servicing of transport aircraft scheduled for early February resupply operations. Helicopter units on the western side of the airfield remain grounded under ceasefire directives. Communications personnel confirm stable contact with radar sites and navigation aids supporting the capital region. In Can Tho, IV Corps headquarters compiles routine district-level status reports. Regional forces stationed along the Bassac River record standard boat traffic, consisting largely of civilian vessels navigating between holiday gatherings. ARVN battalions assigned to outposts in Phong Dien, Thot Nhat, and Phong Heap districts confirm negative contact patrols. U.S. advisory teams submit procedural updates concerning supply storage ahead of anticipated post-holiday distribution. Communications remain clear across VHF and HF bands. No district headquarters reports unusual concentrations in the surrounding hamlets or riverbank settlements. Back in Saigon, National Police increase presence at major intersections as Tet traffic peaks. Patrol supervisors log multiple firecracker incidents, but categorize them as typical seasonal activity. Commercial centers near Ben Thanh and along Le Loi Boulevard experience heavy civilian movement without security anomalies. The Cholon precinct reports steady market flow and no deviations from established patterns in warehouse districts. Public transportation operates on reduced evening schedules. No operational directives are issued to increase readiness at any police or ARVN post. Further north, Da Nang and Quang Ngai operations rooms send additional late-afternoon summaries confirming continued quiet along coastal access points and inland approaches. Marine units near the Haivan Pass maintain minimal defensive postures aligned with the holiday stand-down. Field radios show normal background traffic without spikes. No commands across any Corps-level headquarters identify indicators requiring modification of security status. All systems remain aligned with Tet holiday expectations. Countdown continues. Night hours begin under full Tet ceasefire protocol, with all commands maintaining reduced readiness consistent with the holiday schedule. In Saigon, Joint General Staff logs routine evening confirmations from 3rd and 4th Corps, each reporting stable conditions along primary and secondary approach routes into the capital. Administrative sections initiate night duty turnover, transferring responsibility to skeleton crews. The operations room receives no intelligence updates indicating unusual patterns of movement in suburban districts. MACV headquarters verifies the integrity of secure communications lines linking Saigon to Long Bin, Bien Hoa, Pleiku, and Da Nang. Traffic remains low, limited to daily positional summaries and administrative notifications. No reconnaissance or strike aircraft are tasked for night operations. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, runway lighting remains at minimal settings. The 377th Security Police Squadron begins scheduled nighttime patrols along the western and northeastern perimeters. Sentries report increased civilian activity outside the fence line, as Saigon residents begin Tet Eve movement between homes, pagodas, and markets, though none of the traffic suggests coordinated action. Maintenance teams complete final equipment stowage and secure all aircraft scheduled to remain grounded through the holiday. Helicopter crews attached to the 20th SOS finalize their shift briefings and move to rest quarters. Meteorological teams issue the late evening weather update. Scattered low cloud, light winds, unrestricted visibility. No operational concerns accompany the report. In Da Nang, I Corps' headquarters completes its evening situation review. Liaison officers from ARVN regiments stationed near Hoi An, Hai Van Pass, and the An Hoa Basin file negative contact reports. Marine units positioned south of Da Nang Air Base maintain standard Tet stand-down posture, with perimeter rotations continuing at reduced strength. Intelligence officers record no spikes in field radio chatter from outlying hamlets. Unit commanders confirm that quick reaction forces remain at holiday staffing levels. The 1st Marine Air Wing reports all aircraft secured and hangar personnel released according to Tet protocols. No requests for additional reconnaissance flights or night patrols are submitted. Back in Saigon, National Police finalize their evening deployment maps. Patrols disperse across central and suburban districts, prioritizing traffic control at major junctions where holiday crowds remain active. Logs reflect intermittent firecracker detonations across Cholon, District 5, and areas near the riverfront, each categorized as holiday-related. No precinct reports unusual clustering of individuals or vehicles. Civilian transport continues on shortened schedules with normal passenger density. The U.S. Embassy compound transitions to night staffing. Marine Guards confirm secure radio operation and maintain routine communication checks with the Chancery posts. No instructions are issued beyond standard overnight protocols. Across the Mekong Delta, IV Corps headquarters in Can Tho receives final evening updates from district outposts, all reporting quiet conditions along river approaches. Riverine units remain docked, and advisory teams confirm stable communications with ARVN regional forces. No district indicates notable changes in civilian patterns or suspected infiltration. No command identifies indicators requiring deviation from established Tet readiness levels. Countdown continues. Late-night procedures proceed without change across all Corps zones. In Saigon, Joint General Staff confirms stable lines of communication with 3rd and 4th Corps during the standard top-of-hour readiness check. Duty officers review the final Tet Eve civilian movement summaries from precincts around the capital, noting increased foot traffic but no irregularities. MACV headquarters maintains its reduced night shift, handling routine administrative teletypes and scheduled check-ins from advisory teams in the Central Highlands. The secure channel linking MACV to Da Nang and Hue remains active, carrying only low-volume positional updates and logistics confirmations. No new intelligence summaries or reconnaissance briefings arrive. Air operations remain inactive under holiday restrictions. At Tan Son Nhut Air Base, the 377 TH Security Police Squadron continues scheduled nighttime sweeps along perimeter sectors adjacent to densely populated urban blocks. Sentry positions report a rise in firecracker detonations and general holiday noise from residential areas outside the fence line. Air police check vehicle gates, verifying identification and cargo of the small number of contractors entering the airbase for late-shift support duties. Flight line activity is minimal, with all transport aircraft secured and ground crews off duty. Communications personnel verify signal stability for radio beacons and tower channels ahead of the early morning period. No anomalies are logged. In Hugh, 1st ARVN Division Headquarters maintains a low personnel count in accordance with the Tet Offensive protocols. Duty officers file routine updates to E-Corps, noting calm conditions within both the Citadel and southern urban districts. Checkpoints near the Truong Tien Bridge report light civilian movement and no unusual patterns along riverbanks or surrounding streets. Patrol logs indicate only scattered firecracker activity. ARVN outposts positioned on the outskirts of the city send their scheduled status messages, all negative for hostile contact. U.S. advisory teams in the area conduct standard radio checks on assigned frequencies before securing equipment for the night cycle. Civilian preparations for the midnight holiday continue without interruption. In Saigon's Sholan district, National Police finalize their late-night patrol routes. Market streets begin closing for the holiday, with vendors securing storefronts and warehouses. Patrol logs capture movement consistent with Tet Offensive gatherings, none indicating organized concentrations. Traffic units report stable flows along major arteries leading toward Districts 1, 3, and 5. No suspicious cargo or vehicle clusters are identified during roadside checks. Along the coastal corridor, Da Nang Headquarters sends its final pre-midnight report to Sheer Corps. No unusual movement detected near the Marble Mountain sector, no ground probes near airbase perimeters, and no changes in inland hamlet activity. Weather from all reporting stations shows steady wind patterns and stable visibility. Marine and ARVN units remain on holiday staffing. All operational commands, Saigon, Hue, Da Nang, Cantho, Ben Tre, maintain unchanged Tet posture. No headquarters receives indicators requiring adjustment to readiness levels. Countdown continues. Tet officially begins under the full assumption of a continued ceasefire. In Saigon, civilian fireworks echo intermittently across central districts as the city transitions into the holiday. At Joint General Staff, the night duty team logs routine acknowledgments from 3rd and 4th Corps. No alerts accompany these transmissions. The Operations Board reflects only standard Tet Offensive troop dispositions, with no field units reporting abnormal activity. MACV Headquarters maintains minimal staffing. Secure teletype circuits remain open but idle, carrying only administrative transmissions from U.S. advisory teams confirming their holiday duty rotations. No reconnaissance flights are active. No standing orders anticipate immediate engagement. At the U.S. Embassy on Thong Hut Boulevard, the Marine Security Guard Detachment completes its standard midnight shift change. Gate 1 records a small number of late-returning embassy staff entering on foot, consistent with Tet Offensive movement. Internal posts confirm stable radio checks with Chancery and Annex positions. Perimeter lighting remains on reduced holiday settings. No unusual signatures are observed on the embassy's limited-range surveillance systems. Logs indicate no public disturbances near the compound's outer walls. Routine protocol continues without adjustment. Across the capital, Tan Son Nhut Air Base transitions into its lowest activity period of the holiday. The 377th Security Police Squadron maintains scheduled patrols along the western and northern perimeters. Firecracker detonations from nearby neighborhoods continue at irregular intervals, but are categorized as civilian. Air operations remain suspended. Aircraft are secured in hardened shelters or tied down along the transport apron. Communications personnel verify beacon stability and maintain watch on standard alert frequencies. No transmissions suggest movement of hostile formations toward the base. Citywide, National Police finalize last-minute Tet Patrol assignments. Checkpoints around Cholon, District 5, and major intersections record steady but non-cohesive civilian traffic. Shop closures complete, and market districts settle into reduced nighttime activity. No precinct reports coordinated groups, suspicious cargo, or unusual travel patterns along arterial roads leading into the city center. River traffic along the Saigon River reflects only small civilian vessels repositioning for the holiday, consistent with annual patterns. Northward, in Hue, 1st ARVN. Division Headquarters sends its midnight affirmation to I Corps. No contacts, no civilian displacement, no observed concentrations on the outskirts of the city. Checkpoints along the Perfume River maintain routine visibility. Patrols along the Citadel's outer walls report only seasonal fireworks. Local radio broadcasts switch to pre-recorded Tet programming. U.S. advisors confirm all clear status before securing their communications equipment for the night. Along coastal and delta regions, Da Nang, Quang Ngai, Cantho, Ben Tre, district and provincial headquarters relay their midnight transmissions. All message traffic reflects baseline holiday conditions, with no anomalies or indications of coordinated activity. Field outposts send standard hourly negative contact reports. Marine, ARVN, and U.S. units across all corps remain in reduced readiness Tet posture. At 0000, all commands, military and civilian, operate under the full expectation of continued ceasefire and holiday quiet. No headquarters receives information prompting a change in posture. No alerts are issued. No deviations from routine are recorded. The day begins under standard Tet assumptions.